The efforts of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to defend children from radical gender indoctrination and horrific mutilation were described as sinful by Joe Biden during a recent interview with The Daily Show. The incoherent octogenarian also seemed to announce a plan to strip the states of their ability to protect children from the radical surgical mutilation referred to as transition through federal legislation. Biden went on to explain to the interviewer that he first learned to respect gay marriage after watching two gay men make out in the 1960s. The president must have forgotten that lesson when he voted for the Defense of Marriage Act as a senator in 1996 and when he affirmed the definition of marriage as one man and one woman in an interview in 2006. Calling Biden a liar can be difficult because the dementia is so severe, but what the president's ramblings did reveal is the left's plan to ensure that no state has the ability to resist the assault on the innocence of children. The president suggested that the right of surgeons to carve functioning organs off of perfectly healthy minors should be secured in the same way that the right to gay marriage was secured, through federal legislation. But of course, gay marriage was not made the law of the land because of a piece of legislation. It didn't have the popular support needed to pass through the democratic process. While the speed of the Cultural Revolution makes it easy to forget, even in 2008, gay marriage was so unpopular that the radically liberal state of California banned it through a ballot proposition. That proposition would later be overturned by a court, prefiguring the top-down judicial fiat that would enshrine gay marriage in Obergefell versus Hodges. 12 Senate Republicans helped the left secure victory in December last year by passing the Respect for Marriage Act, but the legislation only served as the post hoc formalization of a culture war victory won in the courts long ago. It's clear that the left will take the same route in the newest crusade of the civil rights revolution, the surgical transition of minors. Conservatives have a general aversion to the idea of the government using state power to ban things. The principles of limited government and individual liberty have become sacrosanct on the American right, and the instinctual response is to be wary of state action. But as the left amasses a nearly unbroken string of victories, it's clear that prioritizing the acquisition of power has proved a far more effective strategy than warning about the possibility of abuse due to its expansion. The left secures power, then uses it to structure the system in a way that ensures progressives never suffer the theoretical backlash that would follow with the swing of the Democratic pendulum. Progressives secure victory in the courts, use the shifting legal landscape and power of the media to push their agenda into every corporation and public institution, and then formalize the democratic consensus they manufactured through media and law. Bewildered conservatives throw up their hands and wonder how popular opinion shifted so rapidly, and the whole process starts over again with the next leftist point of attack. This strategy has worked reliably for the left, but the idea of sexualizing and mutilating children seems to have finally triggered the fight instinct in conservatives. The protection of children has always been seen as a legitimate use of state power in America, and conservatives seem willing to draw the line at direct attacks on their progeny. Florida's ban on gender indoctrination is too mild, only protecting children from grooming until 4th grade, but it's still an important step in the right direction. Many conservatives are waking up to the fact that progressives are not just good faith actors with a difference of opinion, and that the acquisition and exercise of power are the only way to guard their children against the relentless attack of those who would do them harm. While awareness of the need to legally protect children is rising on the right, there are still mainstream conservatives hand-wringing about the mild measures being put in place by states like Florida. Just one day before Biden's interview, New York Times columnist David French attacked Ron DeSantis' efforts to remove sexual indoctrination from elementary schools and rescind special tax carve-outs for woke corporations like Disney. French, a master of principled surrender in all fronts of the culture war, also criticized Texas Governor Greg Abbott for his efforts to stop child abuse by ordering investigations into parents who intend to surgically mutilate or chemically castrate their children. The columnist has become famous for his ability to generate the conservative case for whatever insane evil the left is seeking to advance. He seems to have done so once again, citing the ability of children and parents to consent to mutilation. French seems to have discovered the constitutional right for parents to pay someone to chop the breasts off of their daughters and chemically castrate their sons just in time for the next progressive social crusade. How incredibly convenient for the forces of conservative surrender that James Madison enshrined that particular blessing of liberty. French predictably found a way to acquiesce to power on gay marriage, abandoning his opposition in 2022. He says that he still opposes sex changes for minors, but attacks any form of legal protection for those who would be victimized by this barbaric practice. The fact that Biden spoke the very next day about his intentions to strip states of their right to protect children only underscores the total failure of French and the brand of conservatism that he represents. It's an ideological disposition that refuses to admit that the conflict of moral visions at play is existential and cannot be mediated by a neutral government arbiter. Individual states and parents will not be left alone to make their own decisions on this matter. Progressives will strip away every protection, fight in every venue, avail themselves of every possible lever of both public and private control, until their agenda is implemented. The thing that conservatives must learn, the lesson that is absolutely essential in the days that we live in, is that the side who wants to win will always beat the side that just wants to be left alone, and progressives are willing to win at any cost. On Monday, a group called Florida Equity held a protest outside the state's Capitol building in opposition to a bill that would protect children from sex reassignment prescriptions and surgeries. One of the speakers at the event stood at a lectern and told the crowd that the Florida legislature was erasing our trans babies. The left will only become more radical and fervent in their attacks on children, and they will not be restrained by any theoretical commitment to limited government, federalism, or the democratic process. A conservatism that is unwilling to acquire and exercise power in order to protect the lives and well-being of the children victimized by this utter madness is worse than useless, and must be left in the dustbin of history where it belongs. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to listen to these videos as podcasts, make sure that you're subscribing to the Auron Macintyre podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. And when you do so, make sure that you leave a rating and review. That really helps with all that algorithm magic. The podcast in particular has just exploded in the last few months, and I can't thank you guys enough. I know you're out there sharing it, and it's really making a difference. If you'd like to watch these videos on alt-text sites like Rumble or Odyssey, the links for that are down below in the description. That's also where you'll find links to things like my Twitter, my Gab, and my Substack if you want to follow me there. Of course, you can also check out chapters of The Total State at the Substack, so make sure that you're subscribed so you get notifications when those come out. And of course, all of my columns appear over at The Blaze, and you can watch all of these episodes on Blaze TV. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.